You know what's one way you could show real agape love to Jehovah's Witnesses? It's by beating them at their own game, right? So the Jehovah's Witnesses are supposed to be all about love, right? All loving, all inspiring. They're supposed to be the one and true organization on God's earth, right? Supposedly. But as us ex-JWs know, Jehovah's Witnesses are far, far from loving. They're far from loving. So one way that we can beat them at their own game is by showing them agape love, even when they don't show it to us. Because they will see apostates in a different light. Jehovah's Witnesses believe that apostates are these evil, wicked people, right? They believe that apostates are evil people. So if we do the complete opposite, if we show them that apostates are actually, we're loving people. We're just like them, but better, because they are blinded from the organization, right? And we know the real truth about the truth, but they are blinded. So imagine showing a Jehovah's Witness unconditional love, even if they are shunning you, even if they are being hatred, right, towards you, and just shunning you altogether. Imagine you still showing that person love. You don't think that's going to be a wake-up call for them? You don't think that just by you showing unconditional love, that's going to plant some seeds? Because keep in mind, Jehovah's Witnesses believe that all apostates, all ex-JWs are evil, wicked people. So we have to beat them at their own game. It's time for the apostates to take it up a notch. Let's take it up a notch, right? Because I can't comprehend how in 2024, there are still millions of Jehovah's Witnesses worldwide. That should not be allowed. No way. That should not be allowed. No way. So it's time for us ex-JWs, us apostates, to take it up a notch and show the Jehovah's Witnesses that, you know what, we are not this, we are not these wicked, evil people that you believe we are, right? So let's kill them with kindness. Let's kill them with love, right? I'm not saying to put on the front or put on the act, because if you are a genuinely good person, this should come from the heart. You shouldn't have to put on a persona. You shouldn't have to put on an act. It shouldn't be a front, right? You should be a loving person no matter what. Whether you're a JW or an ex-JW, you should be a loving person no matter what, right? You should have love for your fellow man no matter what. So I encourage all ex-JWs, when you see a Jehovah's Witness, kill them with kindness. Yes, you can ask them certain questions to plant some seeds. And I encourage you guys to do that. Always ask Jehovah's Witnesses questions and plant seeds. Always plant seeds. Right? Now we know you can never wake a JW up. You can never, ever wake a brainwashed, indoctrinated Jehovah's Witness. That's never going to happen. You're never going to wake somebody up. That is impossible. It's impossible, right? Even when you have really good motives, right? Even when you really care about this person, it could be a family member, it could be a really good friend of yours. You cannot wake somebody up. Trust me, I tried to do that. It backfired. It failed. Right? I would never do that ever again. I realized I had to learn the hard way that you cannot wake people up. All you can do is ask them questions. Let them dwell on those questions, plant some seeds, and you can pray and hope that they can wake up in the near future, right? But everybody wakes up on their own due time. You can't wake somebody up. You can't, even with all the information out, there. You can tell people about the CSA cases. You can tell people about the suicides from being shunned. You could tell people about all the negative aspects, all the corruption, all the elders that abuse their power and that end up to be pedophiles. You can tell Jehovah's Witnesses all this information. And guess what? None of this is going to wake them up. You know why? Because people wake up on their own due time. Like I said, I had to learn that the hard way. But all you can do, this is how you play your part as an XJW. You be patient. Ask Jehovah's Witnesses questions. Plant some seeds. Because when you ask them certain questions, right? When you ask a Jehovah's Witness a question that they can't answer, guess what? It's gonna dwell in their head. It's gonna dwell on them. Now, they may not ever admit it, right? But if you ask a JW a certain question and you plant some seeds, it's going to dwell with them for a while. And when the time comes for them to wake up, it could be several months, it could be several years, right? Everybody wakes up on their own due time. But all you can do in the meantime is show them love, true agape love. Let's not be this apostates that they want us to be. Oh, they say apostates are evil, wicked people with hatred. We have so much hate in our hearts. We're angry people. No, let's not do that. Let's be the complete opposite. Let's shower them with love and help them to see that, and help these Jehovah's Witnesses to see that, you know what? You can leave the cults and you can still be a happy person. You can still be productive. You can still move on with your life. You can still be happy, right? So let's take the initiative to help Jehovah's Witnesses to see that, listen, this is not the truth for X, Y, and Z. And I want to ask you certain questions that I want you to dwell upon. And I want you to see that I'm happy even though I left the organization. Because they always say that, oh, once you leave the organization, you're going to be miserable. You're going to be unhappy. You're going to be depressed. So let's show them that people can leave the organization and you can still be happy. You can still be content outside of the organization. Let's do our part as XJWs and let's show the Jehovah's Witness community that, listen, we know that what you believe is not the truth. We know the real truth about the truth. And we love you guys unconditionally, even though you have conditional love for us. When you guys wake up, whether it's several months or whether it's several years, we are going to be here for you no matter what. We're going to be here for you no matter what. So, in my last few videos, right? I told you guys, my mom has completely shunned me. My family, my entire family, but especially my mom. It's one thing for your siblings to block you, right? That hurt it. When both of my brothers blocked me, that hurt it. Of course I hurt it. But it's a whole nother level when your mother, the person that gave birth to you, when your own mother tells you, don't talk to me anymore. Don't text me anymore. Don't call me anymore. This was the last words I heard from my mother. Don't talk to me. She said, don't talk to me anymore. Don't message me anymore. Leave me alone. That was the last words I heard from my mother, right? And that was about 9 months ago. And I'm giving my mother the benefit of the doubt because I understand she's brainwashed. Because at one point, I was brainwashed. At one point, I was fully indoctrinated in this religion. At one point, I believed that this was the truth. So I get it. I get where she's coming from. I get where she's coming from. And all I simply told my mom, it started with a question. I asked my mom, I said, listen, do you believe that these men, these governing body leaders, do you honestly believe that they are God's chosen people? So when I said that, automatically she got defensive. Oh, you're sounding like an apostate. You're questioning. You're being doubtful. Instead of her using her common sense, because my mom, just like my mom, just like all these millions of Jehovah's Witnesses worldwide, right? All these Jehovah's Witnesses worldwide, they are putting their 100% faith and trust in men. And this is the sad part about Jehovah's Witnesses. This is the sad part. They leave no room for failure. No room for failure. In other words, they put all their eggs in one basket, right? Instead of them using their common sense and saying, hey, listen, there is a possibility that this organization might not be what they claim to be. There's a possibility that this organization might be just like every other organization out there that provides false promises. Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't use common sense. Like I said, they put all their eggs in one basket. They have to convince themselves that this is the truth. They have to lie to themselves. They have to convince themselves this is the truth. We are going to be forever in paradise earth. We are going to see our dead loved ones once again. They have to lie to themselves to make it real. But the sad part is, they don't do their homework. They don't do their research. They will blindly take the words of 8, 9 men in upstate New York. They will blindly serve these men with no hesitation. And it makes that makes no fucking sense. Excuse my French, but that makes no sense for millions of people worldwide to believe in a pipe dream with no proof. They have no solid proof that this is the truth. All they can do is take these men's words. Take the governing body leaders' words. Now, what if these governing body leaders are wrong? And they are. Right? All of us ex-JWs know. We already know. All of us apostates, the ex-JW community, we know that they're wrong, right? But the Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't know that they're wrong. But when it comes to Jehovah's Witnesses, it's like, how can you put all your eggs in one basket? Like I said, they leave no room for failure. No room for failure at all. They would rather waste their entire life slaving and serving for this man-made organization, putting 100% full trust and devotion in these men, and these 8, 9 men in upstate New York. They would put all their faith and trust in these men, the governing body leaders, when there is a good possibility that they are wrong, because for over 100 years they've been saying, hey, this is the end. We are living in the last days. For over 100 years they've been saying this, right? And now we have new doctrines. And now the governing body leaders are saying we are not even inspired by God. If you're not inspired by God, then why are there millions of people who still listen to you? If I was a religious person, right? If I was still a JW, and if I was at a meeting, if I was at a meeting and I heard a governing body leader say, oh, we're not inspired by God. We don't owe you guys any apology. That would be a complete wake-up call for me. Hold up. You are not inspired by God? But yet you are telling us, you are telling JWs, Jehovah's Witnesses worldwide, that listening to you is like listening to the voice of Jesus. But at the same time, you're contradicting yourself and you're saying that, oh, we're not inspired by God. We don't talk to God personally. So if you're not inspired by God, then why the fuck am I listening to you? Why the hell is my entire life revolved around you guys? the governing body leaders, they detect what Jehovah's Witnesses do, the people they talk to, how they have sex, what they drink, eat. Their entire lives revolves around the governing body leaders, right? Their entire lives revolve around the governing body leaders. You can't even marry somebody outside the Jehovah's Witness cult, because the governing body leaders, they control that too. They control every aspect of your life. Every aspect of your life. And it's sad that there's millions upon millions of people that blindly listen and obey these governing body leaders just because they say, oh, we are God's spokesman. But they also say that we are not inspired by God. You know, in my waking up process, I almost had a psychotic breakdown. Almost. Because when you wake up and you realize that this is not the truth, right? And you see that there are millions upon millions in this organization. And not just this organization, but other religions worldwide. Mormons, Seventh-day Adventists, Scientologists, all these cults, right? Not just religions, but cults. High control religions. We see all these people worldwide that devote their entire life to these man-made cults. It's sad. It's really sad. Because these people are literally throwing their entire lives away for these man-made organizations. And it's sad that my family, I pray to God that they wake up. I pray to God that they wake up. But it's sad that there are, just like my family, there are millions upon millions of people worldwide. Not just Jehovah's Witness organization. Like I said, Mormons, Seventh-day Adventists, Scientologists, all these cults. All these people put their faith and trust 100% in these cults, these man-made cults. And these people, a lot of people are going to die believing in this shit. Like when you wake up from this religion, it is a Twilight Zone cluster fuck. It is a Twilight Zone cluster fuck when you wake up from any cult. Because now you're wide awake. And now you get to see all these people that are trapped in, right? And they still believe in it. They're still locked in. They're still zoned in. They're still brainwashed in the religion. And you get to see them from the outside like, whoa, I see this from what it is. You guys are brainwashed. This is not the true religion. This is just a man-made organization. And you guys believe in this? Why? Like when you take a step back and you see the religion for what it is, whew, it is so sad when you see all your loved ones still trapped inside. It's sad. Because you are fully wide awake and these people are lost in the fucking sauce. Excuse my French. But they're lost in the sauce. And it shouldn't have to be that way. It shouldn't have to be that way. And it's sad that with all this technology, all they have to do, all these Jehovah's Witnesses have to do is do their own research. It's scary when you think about it, right? It's sad when you think about it. They are literally a few clicks away from waking up. All they have to do is look at jwfacts.org, sorry, jwfacts.com. Look at YouTube videos. All they have to do is Google XJW material, and then all this stuff will pop up, right? Reddit, YouTube. These people will wake up. If Jehovah's Witnesses did their research, just like they did the research on jw.org, they would wake up like that. But it's sad that They rather listen to the governing body leaders. And these governing body leaders are telling them, don't listen to apostate material. Don't listen to them. But the apostate material will wake them up just like that. The apostate material from the XJW community will help them to see that, hey, listen, this is not the truth. You guys are lost in the source. And you guys need to wake up. And it's sad that there are people out there that have already died being born in this religion and dying in their 70s and 80s believing in this nonsense. It doesn't have to be that way. Because, like I said, now with all this technology, people can wake up right here and right now. In 2024, people could wake up and realize, hey, listen, my entire life has been a lie. Just like I did. I had to learn the hard way. I was a devout witness. Even when I was inactive for nearly a decade, right? Even when I was inactive, I still thought it was the truth. But when you do your research, there is no going back. Like I always say, once you wake up and you do your research, there is no going back. You can't be fake. You can't put on a front. It is what it is. It is what it is. I don't understand how in the year 2024, there are still millions of JW, Jehovah's Witnesses worldwide, that still believe in this. With all the technology we have, people are still brainwashed? What? How is that possible? YouTube, Reddit, jwfacts.com, all the websites we have, all the information we have, people are still brainwashed, they're still believing in these lies. And meanwhile, this is the sad part, meanwhile, the organization, they're still promising these false hopes. Oh, serve us, obey us, pay us, donate your money to us, and you will have everlasting life. And Jehovah's Witnesses are still buying into this bullshit. But you know what it comes down to? It comes down to people fearing death. That's the heart of this. That is the root of this problem. People fear death. Jehovah's Witnesses, they fear death. So by any means, they will convince themselves to believe in this false, fake paradise earth to avoid death. Because when you think about it, right? When you think about it, avoiding death and even making up the so-called paradise earth in your mind, that is better than believing that, oh God, one day I'm going to die and there's nothing after life. There's no afterlife. So they have to convince themselves. Jehovah's Witnesses, they have to lie to themselves. They have to convince themselves that this paradise earth is the real deal, even though it's not. Us XJWs, we know that there's no paradise coming. Paradise earth is just a made-up pipe dream. That's not going to happen. No way in hell. That's just a man-made philosophy, right? That's not going to happen. But anywho, it's sad that Jehovah's Witnesses, they have to lie to themselves because they don't want to believe that one day that they are going to die. They don't have to believe that. Now, I already know I'm going to die one day. Just like 50 years from now, 100 years from now, none of us, we are not going to be here. We are not going to be here 100 years from now. No way in hell. But Jehovah's Witnesses, they have to lie to themselves. They have to convince themselves that a paradise earth is going to happen for their mind being, right? For their to keep themselves sane, I guess you could say. They have to lie to themselves. They keep themselves mentally sane. They have to. Because without that hope of everlasting life, they have nothing at all. You take everlasting life away, Jehovah's Witnesses, they have nothing else to look forward to. Nothing else. So they have to lie to themselves to tell them, oh, you know what? Paradise is right around the corner. Even when they know that paradise should have been here decades ago. They know that. Every Jehovah's Witness, deep down inside, they know paradise should have been here decades ago. They know that. They would never admit it. They will lie to themselves and make all the excuses in the world. Oh, God he's delaying it because he wants more. He wants more people to join the cult. He wants more people to join the organization. That is the excuse. When you ask the Jehovah's Witness, how come Paradise Earth is not here yet? They've been saying it for over 100 years. A Jehovah's Witness will say, you know what? Paradise, it will be here when the time is right. And God, he's delaying it because he doesn't want anybody to die. So he's giving people more time to join the religion. He's giving people over 100 years. What about the people right now that are suffering? What about people in the Middle East with all these wars that's going on? People here in America, people in Mexico, people in Africa, people in all these countries that are struggling financially, people that are struggling in poverty. Why would he allow them to keep suffering? If he's God, if he's Almighty, guess what? He can make a public declaration right here and right now. God Almighty can speak to every person on this planet in every language. He can make a public declaration. I'm God. I'm Jehovah. This world is going to end soon. Please listen to my people. Please, I want you guys to live forever on Paradise Earth. I love you guys. I want you guys to study with Jehovah's Witnesses. Like God, if he was almighty or powerful, he can make that public declaration to every country in every language, every tongue, all around the globe, all at once. If he was almighty or powerful, he can do that. He doesn't have to use people to preach out service. And as we already know, most people don't even listen to Jehovah's Witnesses out in service. So if God really cared about the earth, if paradise was really about to happen, he can make a public declaration. So what's stopping him? What's stopping him from doing that? If he's almighty or powerful, if he wants everybody to live, why is he using puppets? Why is he using human beings to preach the good news when he can simply use his voice and say, hey, listen, I'm God, I'm Jehovah, I'm the Almighty, I'm the Almighty God. I want everybody to live forever on Paradise Earth. I have a paradise that's about to happen soon. Hear my voice. Study with Jehovah's Witnesses. He can say that at any given time. But yet, Jehovah's Witnesses believe that God is using them as puppets. And as we know, most people don't even listen to Jehovah's Witnesses. Most people go about their day. Jehovah's Witnesses stand in front of carts. People don't look at the carts. They don't care about what Jehovah's Witnesses have to say. But yet, this is supposed to be a life-saving message, right? Whew. Okay, guys. I went on a little rant right there. But, anywho. I love you guys. And I just... It pains me that... It really, really pains me that millions of people are gonna die. If they don't wake up, if they don't do their research, and if they don't wake up, they are really gonna die believing in a man-made organization. That's scary. That's sad. And it's unnecessary. Because they are literally a few clicks away from learning the truth about the truth. That's the sad part. With all this technology, there's no excuse. There's no reason why people have to be lost in the sauce. There's no reason. Now, back in the 90s or the early 2000s, I could see how it could be easy to be a JW. Because we didn't have the technology that we have now. Back in the 90s and early 2000s, I get that, right? But we have the internet. There is no excuse. There is no excuse at all how Jehovah's Witnesses, they choose to listen to 8-9 men in upstate New York that tell them, don't do your research outside of jw.org. That makes no comments. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. We have the internet. Every Jehovah's Witness with common sense should be asking questions. If your governing body leaders are telling you, hey, listen, Paradise is right around the corner. They've been saying this for over 100 years. They've been telling you guys to now donate money. And paradise is still not here. And you would think that Jehovah's Witnesses with common sense would be like, hold on. They are constantly giving talks about paradise earth, but paradise is not here. They're talking about the same things over and over at the meeting. They are now asking us for money. And what are we getting in return? What are Jehovah's Witnesses getting in return? They're getting the same talks over and over. Maybe the format is a little different, right? But the talks are the same. They're now talking about money. So Jehovah's Witnesses are giving. They're giving. They're giving their time, their attention, their money, their entire devotion, their entire life to this organization. But what are they getting in return besides these pipe dreams? They're getting nothing in return. Nothing in return. Where does the common sense come in? Where does the common sense come to play? If your governing body leaders are telling you year after year, decade after decade, paradise is right around the corner. The end is near. I can see the end is right around the corner. I can see it. If your governing body leaders are saying this, and year after year, decade after decade, the end doesn't come, then guess what? You are being fooled. You are being played. You should be allowed to do your research. If this is the truth, then guess what? Jehovah's Witnesses, if this is the truth, you should be allowed to watch and listen to anything and everything outside of JW.org. You should come back to the conclusion that this is the truth. But you can't do that. So that should be a red flag for you right there. If you can't look outside of the realms of JW.org and realize that, hey, listen, I have the truth. I should be able to look at anything outside of JW.org, and this should still be the truth. If you can't do that, then guess what? You don't have the truth. You don't have the truth. Anywho, guys, if you are JW watchers or Jehovah's Witness watchers, guess what? I am a full-blown apostate, and I'm not bitter. I'm not mad. I'm not pissed off. I love you guys. I have peace in my heart. All I want is for every JW to do is to do their research outside of the JW.org. And like I said, if you believe you have the truth, guess what? Test it. Test the theory. If you have the truth, you should be able to look at outside resources on YouTube, on Reddit, on Google, and you should still come to the conclusion that you have the truth. But you can't do that, because if you did that, if you did your research, I promise you on my life, I promise you, you would not go back to the organization. So I encourage you to do your research. I love you guys, and I will see you guys on the next video. Take care.